This is the ICU. It's where hospitals provide intensive care for patients like Lynn Ignis. An ordeal for sure, but not just for him.
You know, you're very stressed and anxious.
She's his daughter, talking about what it was like to be kept out of the ICU.
You have to follow the rules.
Even now, we found big differences in when you can visit a loved one in intensive care. The Houston Northwest Medical Center limits visitation in the surgical ICU to 5 hours during the day and a single hour in the evening.
When asked about my recent ICU visit and my point of view on visitation hours, I like the current policy on visitation in the ICU. Doctors and nurses didn't need to waste any more time on saying excuse me and tripping over a room full of people. Sometimes the family members who barely came to see me were the ones that complained the most and had the biggest uproar about visitation hours. Some days, they let 3 or 4 family members at a time come in to see me. I was appreciative of that, but I needed rest. I didn't need all the family members in there at all times. I felt that the current ICU policy was sufficient. It should be at the nurse's discretion if she allows changes in the policy based on such situation. Sometimes the rest is just what I needed. Sometimes having family members around is just what I needed.
The patient's starting to get tired and we want to maximize their rest and maximize their ability to heal.
But that very notion that too much visitation can hurt a patient in ICU is being challenged.
I asked some of the nurses on the floor had they worked as previous ICU nurse, so I asked them a couple of questions about their experience in visitation hours while they worked as the ICU nurse. Gina, she's worked for about 15 years, and she stated that when I worked as an ICU, the visitation policy wasn't as open as it is today. Back then, the family could only visit for a total of 2 to 3 hours the entire day. For the nurses, this was great because we got to get all our work done, and if something happened, the family wasn't there to be traumatized by it most of the time. The only bad thing I would say was that I could see how not being able to see their loved ones made the family upset. Marlena, another nurse, she stated the visitation hours worked well as far as I'm concerned. The family was allowed to visit a lot, and they weren't in the way at all.
Some hospitals in Houston are opening up ICUs as never before, and a new federal rule is prompting even more openness in intensive care. Look what they've been doing for years now at Methodist Hospital. It not only allows families to visit, but their dogs too. All these visitors bad for someone like Clara with a heart condition and bronchitis? In most cases, no, according to studies that even found visits not only didn't stress out the patient, but actually reduced the stress felt by family members.
They can stay here 24/7.
My mom has stayed at night, and I'm going to stay this evening.
To have a room like this of your own, your family sitting right over there, it's just so unusual, you know.
We're rethinking of the ICU to make the most fragile of patients feel better.